Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the Soviet I-15R sitting at 1.0 battle rating. Fantastic little bugger. This is the most maneuverable reserve plane in the game. You have the Heinkel 51 who has better roll rate than this one. But I think this one is a close second when it comes to roll rate. And the turn rate in this thing is supreme by far, and it's much better than the Heinkel 51. So, if you have somebody who is quick and has good reflexes and uses that roll rate well, you still have so much better turn time in this thing that you will probably outfight it in any maneuver fight anyway, with ease. And it's only when you have equal pilots that these things have a chance of being a nice fight. But when the pilot also is less good than you, and this thing is basically, I think, for me, it is the best reserve biplane in the game. It has 4 machine guns, it has the best turn rate, and it has the second roll rate, I would say. It is brilliant plane, and it's also has a bit of sturdiness on her. So overall, this is a fantastic little plane that you can have a lot of fun in. It's always nice to know that you're the best at something, and this plane can definitely support you in that. Biplane fighting, the rank 1 fighting is often about turn fighting, about dog fights, and this plane is the best at that. The Kai 27 can give you a run for your money, but they're very close, and that's the better plane all around. But that's 1.3, this is 1.0. We're looking at the same battle rating. But yeah, definitely, if you meet a Kai 27, you got to be careful in this plane, especially when it comes to energy retention and acceleration. But for the rest, against all the other biplanes, this plane can wreak havoc, especially with those 4 guns. But anyway, let's look at the speed first. The speed is not one of the strengths of this plane. It definitely is not the fastest plane. It is somewhere on the lower end of the middle of the pack. It's definitely not the worst, but it's far from the best. The maximum speeds in this plane at sea level without WEP is 333 kilometers an hour, with WEP 342. At 4,500 meters, this is 285 without WEP and 286 with WEP. And finally, at 6,500 meters, still go up to 240 without WEP and 242 with. Now you see that the WEP is not too powerful, especially on 3,000 meters plus. It starts to become, worthless actually. So this plane is best below 3,000 meters, where it has a WEP that actually makes a difference a little bit. And yeah, especially for the speeds, they drop off as well at the higher altitude. So it's better. Most of the other planes keep their speeds a little better at higher altitudes, but that goes for all Soviet planes. They were made for the lower altitude, below 3,000 meters. Some of them can function above that, but most are not the best when they go high, and that is the same for this I-15. The top speed in a dive is 532 kilometers an hour before she redlines, and 600 before she rips apart. Now this ripping apart is only when you don't use flaps. The flaps are an air brake in this plane, and they can slow you down that much that you can stay in a 100% vertical downward dive that you cannot accelerate anymore. You will not rip. So deploying flaps is slows the planes down enough so that they cannot rip, and that also gives the flaps a they don't have a rip speed because you do not build enough speed for them to rip. Now I did not feel like testing deploying the flaps at 600 kilometers an hour or close to that, or 500, and see exactly where they rip off. That would be a terrible job to do. But if you deploy the flaps before the 350, 400 range, you can definitely easily make sure that this plane does not rip out, and that is great to have. These speeds, by the way, are in indicated airspeed without Mach. The control stiffening starts a little bit, a very small tick in the roll rate, especially at 300 kilometers an hour, and the second one at 450. The plane does keep reasonable roll rate though, even at the higher speeds, which is good. And the stall speed is very nice with 75 kilometers an hour. A very late stall speed, but most of the biplanes have good stall speed, so that's not something unheard of at this battle rating. The firepower is very good with 4 7.62mm PV1 machine guns with 750 rounds per gun. That ammo load is excellent, fantastic, 750 rounds per gun. You can also equip this plane with 2 50-kilogram bombs if you want. Now, yeah, I mean, I usually don't do that because I want to climb a little bit and make sure that I can fulfill the boom and zoom roll to start with. The climb rate in this plane is good, so it can definitely get up to altitude a little bit. Maybe in up tiers it will have a bit of problem, but unfortunately, by the way, this match ends before there were still 3 people on the runway there. We were in ideal position to get an 8-kill match there, but unfortunately it wasn't supposed to happen. Our base got killed and, well, we lost. Damn those bombers. What about the performance in this plane? The acceleration is good, both in the straight line and in a dive. The energy retention is decent with in the horizontal and in the vertical. And combined with the good climb rate and that stall speed, this plane can be fun for some stall maneuver shenanigans. That is always good, always fun. Of course, when you're in a full up tier against a BF-109 E1, you don't wanna do this, but you want to turn them and lure them into turn fights. But when you are in a biplane match at your own battle rating, the 1.0, 1.3 range, you can have a lot of fun with energy maneuvers in the vertical. Although then again, you don't want to do that with a Ki-27, so you got to be very aware of which plane you're using that against. But against other biplanes, this plane is definitely fun in that department. So it can do a little bit of everything depending on what it actually faces. So yeah, that climb rate, yeah, good. Turn time is absolutely fantastic. With flaps as well, it doesn't matter, it's fantastic with or without flaps. And as I said, the flaps, they slow the plane down enough so that it never rips. And that also goes for the flaps. I have not seen them rip in that department. I've deployed them up to 450, but after that I was like, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna keep trying that because it just takes a shitload of time to run in the test flight, run out, run in, run out, and then at every 10 kilometers you deploy the flaps. It's a hell of a job. I didn't feel like doing it. Maybe somebody else wants to do that, but you can take it from me that from up until 450 you can deploy the flaps and you can save yourself in a dive from ripping at 600 kilometers an hour. You can do some experimenting. You will see if maybe you can deploy them even up to 550. Who knows? But they are an air brake in all functionality, and that is a good thing to have in the dives. Don't want to rip, so deploy the flaps and you will have an air brake in this plane, which is fantastic. The roll rate is excellent. It is not the best in the game, as I said. The Heinkel 51 definitely takes that one, but still excellent roll rate. Maneuverability then is fantastic. You can be sure that you are the best plane in maneuverability in any match that you'll face. So that is nice. That's where its main strengths lie, of course. But you can also do some energy fighting and some boom and zooming actually. The overheating in the plane is atrocious though with web. It heats up fast and it cools down slowly, so that is not one of its strengths. Yeah, so yeah, downside, you gotta be aware that you don't overheat this plane too much. Especially before you go into a dogfight or an engagement with multiple planes where you need to web. Sometimes you want to start from the white numbers, not being in the amber already, because you will heat up the plane and potentially hamper you in your fighting there. The durability is decent, it can take a hit or two, and it's quite sturdy, as you saw in this match, the second match. I took some damage from an ally earlier on when I was attacking somebody. Somebody was spraying a little bit, got me in the left wing, but he's taking it pretty well. I also have a damaged engine. It doesn't die immediately, it takes quite a bit, so I'm quite happy with the durability on this plane. So in the flight style, you want to look at boom and zooming, energy fighting, and the main thing of course is turn fighting. But you can always save that. What are you fighting? Are you in an up tier? Then you basically don't want to energy fight against everybody. Boom and zooming is still possible if you're higher up. The climb rate, as I said, is good. And many of the little bit higher battle rating in rank 1 don't have that well of a climb rate. So you can be above them. But you can always turn fight against anything in this thing. So that is fantastic. Yeah, it's great to transition between the roles in this plane. Very versatile little fighter. Right, let's see what kind of rewards we got for that 5-kill match. We've got Survivor, Best Squad, Terror of the Sky, 23,000 Silver Lions and 3,000 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now this plane can do a little bit of everything. It is a fantastic turn fighter and a good boom and zoomer, and then a decent energy fighter. And you can switch between those roles a little bit depending on what you're fighting. Of course, Guy 27s. There's a lot of planes that have a better energy retention. The Chinese CW21 that is a monster, for example. At 2.0 you'll be facing some Hurricanes, which will do some stuff better, especially in the speed department, and so on. So you gotta watch what you're facing a little bit, but in the turn fighting department where this plane shines, she can defeat anybody, and that is a good thing to have in this plane. You also have your 4 guns with a lot of ammo, so you can spray a little bit here and there. It just makes this an overall very, very good reserve biplane. For me, this is my favorite reserve biplane. I think it's the best, and yeah, let me know what you think. But it's a great plane to have. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.